Well, you do indeed never know. And this is episode 332 of We Were Gamers. I'm JJ. Hello. And my lovely two co-hosts are here with me.
Hello.
That's Andy. He's back from assignment.
Yeah, welcome back, bud.
Woohoo. And Michael is, of course, here.
Good to be here.
He was.
And how was that assignment, Andy?
And here, let's make it easier on him. Andy, divorce your response into two camps. One, tell us about the stadium, and two, tell us about the game.
Let's talk about the experience of attending the game. Let's talk about that.
SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles is, I believe, unfinished.
Okay.
I know they'll tell you that it's finished.
Like they're still building it, or?
No, I mean, the stadium itself is built, and it's actually quite pretty as far as modern architecture goes. There's a lot of open air going on, and in California, there was pretty good weather for a night game on a Monday, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look around, you can see stuff that just doesn't look like that can't be permanent, is like how I look at it, right? There's tiny little parking lots everywhere around the stadium. There's huge, what look like construction sites still around the stadium. I mean, there's literally a construction site straight across from it. If you look out one of the ends of the stadium, you see the Forum. If you look out the other, not end, but side, you see the Clippers' new arena that's being built. So the parking in general and the area around it seem like it's just sort of not fully complete. In one of the parking lots we parked in, they have trees in the parking lot. Well, they didn't plant the trees. They're just in boxes sitting on the concrete. Right? If you look to one direction, there's a huge hill of dirt with a fence around it. It's like, was that supposed to be another big parking lot? The main tailgate lot, which they call Thunder Alley or something like that, looks done, and like they put a lot of effort and thought into how it was laid out, and the rest of them all seem kind of not quite complete, maybe. The food in the stadium seems not quite complete, maybe. They have kind of like homogenized. Y'all been to like MLB stadiums in the last couple of years?
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
When you look at the sorry, I was drinking tea. I have a sore throat. But when you look at the, not from being sick, just from being up too late the last couple nights. When you look around the, like, what is that called? The the boardwalk. Like, what is it called in a stadium when you're walking around the back? It's not a boardwalk, but like the
concourse, the arcade.
Yes, the concourse.
I don't know what we're talking about here.
The concourse is exactly what I was trying to come up with in my head. You would identify what restaurants are around, what things are very easily.
Yeah, they have like big signs on the walls.
Delineated signs, and kind of a lot of them might be chain restaurants or whatever. There's no chain restaurants that I could find in there, but like the restaurants or the food areas are basically grandstand concession stands that are differentiated by their menus, and all the signs for all of them are white, and they're white on white paint, so that you have to like read it through bias lighting. And some of them are called like Olvera Street, and some of them are a grandstand or something like that. And they all have different stuff. Some have hot dogs, some have nachos, some have chicken tinga tacos, some have this and some have. But if you're just sort of like eyeballing stuff, there's no way to tell what all the foods are, and there's not that much at each one. So it feels like it's complete, but it also feels incomplete. The beer selection is underwhelming, but it sure is an experience when you sit in there and you're like, there's 70,000 people in here. I'm on the third deck and I still feel like I'm almost on the field. And the screen is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's They could have made it bigger. I don't understand why it's the size that it is and the shape that it is, but it's a round screen that no matter what height you're at, you can see it. So like if you're on the side of the stadium but you're too low because it's really high, you look at the back of the other one and there's a screen there because it's a circle.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think the weirdness of the shape is because of the bad experiences of what's that one stadium? Jerry Jones.
The Cowboys
and
stadium?
People keep kicking the football into that stupid jumbotron in that stadium.
Yeah, it's really high up there.
So they have this one like made in a slightly weird shape so that maybe that doesn't happen as much, although probably still someone will kick it sooner or later.
No, you couldn't kick this if you tried.
No? Okay.
No.
It's way too high.
It's very high. So like they solved I'd have to crane my neck straight up to see the screen problem. But it's still a very odd shape to look at if you're down below it. I think it's going to be a stadium that it's like your jeans that you bought, JJ. You got to wear it in a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, some of that stuff also is like this is good enough and it's open.
Yes.
And the marketing budget will get funded in the next year and the next year and the next year and the next year, and those things will all improve as the marketing dollars get spent in various places, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it looks very sleek and modern, and I understand the aesthetic of why they used white signs with bias lighting on white, and it just all looks clean and new.
Also, some of that is going to be the NFL operates very differently than the MLB does, and they're not going to put chain restaurants in there because they're like, here is the vice grip on the money that we have, and you get none of it, and we get all of it, kind of thing that the NFL does.
But it's very sterile. It just doesn't have any...
Yeah, like, look, they'll throw in like 2 years, they'll throw a coat of paint on some stuff, and all of a sudden it'll be way different, right?
Yeah. It's just very sterile looking. It looks like a hospital almost. In certain places, the bars are nice, and the beer again lacking in variety, but not lacking in $19 per glass.
Again, once again, the NFL vice grip on the money that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Although the MLB isn't better about that, they still cost just as much there.
One, you can still get a bacon wrapped hot dog when you leave the game. They have not put the kibosh on street vendors there. So that was nice. And despite everything I said, how was my experience of the stadium? I still was in awe of it. It is very impressive. It is very impressive. It is
nice.
It is a well constructed and very cool building.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Then the thing you had to do while you were there, though, unfortunately,
was watch sixth graders play football. Jeez. On a field that was clearly too big for them.
Well, Russell Wilson had to take a week off because he was, he wanted to play, but
too embarrassed afterwards.
Harsh.
I mean,
maybe fair.
The Broncos and the Chargers played a game. Both teams tried not to win, basically, towards the end. They benched...
Melvin Gordon. I think he's going to get traded, is what people are saying.
Yeah, he's probably going to get traded. Latavius Murray is now the lead running back from the Broncos. And the Broncos have now activated from the 49ers practice squad, Marlon Mack. That's a backup.
Ooh, there's a pull.
So we're doing well over there. You could tell. As long as they don't fire sale the defense, the team will be good next year, I think. They just got to lock in everyone figuring out the offense. It just wasn't ready. I was very positive on the team. And I actually kind of am still. I mean, they lost to the Jets without a quarterback, basically, and without a running back by only 5 points. So...
the Jets currently undefeated in football, I think, still. So
yes, but to lose to an undefeated team 14-9 with no quarterback and no running back is actually
the Broncos' defense is very good. It's very good.
Yeah, defense is great. So Russell Wilson's a good quarterback. There's no doubt about it. And And do they have good?
I mean, I think I have some doubt about it. I think that's. Okay. I think that my concern is that you bought the cow the year after it stopped giving the milk. Man, that's my concern.
I don't know about that. I think he's still got some. He's got something left. Peyton Manning and John Elway did not look worried.
Okay, I mean, I guess I'm not. I am not any kind of football evaluator. So, but I think so. Overall, like pretty good time. I mean, disregarding the football that you had to see.
You know, it would have been good football if in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and the overtime, they didn't look like they had no idea which way the field was.
I feel like you can lay some of that blame pretty squarely on that coach who has no idea how the clock works and what direction time goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not fun. So we'll let that game go. It's fine. It was fun to go to a game. It was frustrating towards the end because your team, you know. But Michael knows all about that.
I was just about to make that transition. Well done.
Except my team both of my teams got up off the mat this weekend, and I was in the stadium for one of them.
Well, one of them should just stay down.
Well, you know?
Yeah,
one of them's going to.
No, I just hear no bell. Just throw in the towel, Mick. Like picks are on the line.
Yeah, I was happy to see Tom Brady get embarrassed, and I'm fine with the rest of the season going pretty much away so that we can get better position next year.
I have to say, did you guys see the Tom Brady press conference after that game?
No, I don't enjoy wallowing in someone else's pain.
You should though, because it's Tom Brady. The dude has the 1,000-yard stare.
He's looked that way for weeks.
What have I done? And he's just normal. He's just answering the questions. It's just in between stuff, he's just staring, and you're just he wishes he was just asleep. He's just clearly having the worst day.
Yeah. Tomatoes have a lot of vitamins that could help with making him more awake.
This is true.
That's a thing. So you were in person also, though, Michael?
Yeah. So we drove up to Stanford for their homecoming game this past weekend and watched maybe one of the uglier wins that I have seen in a while.
W's W.
Hey, a W is a W, even though we almost gave it away with 3 seconds left on the clock.
2 weeks in a row.
Well, yeah. 2 weeks in a row. But, hey, that's a winning streak, right? So, JJ, to put it in perspective for you, the Arizona State offense had 14 points on 2 touchdowns for the game. The Stanford kicker had 15 points on field goals.
That's
That was your final score right there.
Wow.
Should I tell him the nickname for your kicker?
Yeah, go for it.
His name is Carty, so I call him the Print Carty Rich because he just prints points, baby.
He has not missed a field goal yet this season, and he 2 or 3 weeks in a row now has been named the Special Teams Player of the Week in the conference.
I mean,
lock in that print cartridge.
He seems to be the only
offensive
scoring player on the team. He has to be by default, right? He's better than their whole other offense. Got to include him.
Oh my God. Special teams, dude. Be aware of your surroundings. The Broncos gave the game away on a special teams error. If you know the guy's behind you, you don't back up and you don't get in front of him for the fair catch.
Yeah, just let the ball bounce.
Just let it bounce.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh well.
Well,
how many could you count the people, Michael? On how many hands? Did you need 2 hands or just one?
I barely needed 2 hands. I needed 2 hands to count the number of empty sections of the stadium.
Ooh, I've been to that stadium. It's not the biggest stadium either.
So
You're not talking like 100,000 people in there.
No, they renovated it a decade or so ago, and it actually got smaller. So it seats around 50,000 now.
Yeah,
I've been since the renovation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it seats around 50,000. The announced attendance, which in college football they are allowed to use ticket sales for announced attendance, was 25,000.
Woof.
And it was nowhere near that full.
So at least 20 of those 25,000 sounds like they were either outside drinking or never came.
That is one thing about tailgates at that college is that a lot of people, even those who have tickets and some that do not, just show up to hang out and tailgate.
Yeah.
I will tell you all that all the times that I have been, I've had better times at the tailgate than watching the games.
Okay. I can believe that.
As a person with no connection to the school and only goes because I have fun with the other people that I end up tailgating with.
Right. Oh, well, that's fair.
Yeah. Plus it being home.
If the football is close and fun, like that's great, but like I don't have any stakes, and so it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. But the games have been kind of either one-sided or not fun. So,
well, the football was close.
Hey, like I say, they only record the win. They only record the win in the stat sheet. That's all that matters, right?
I think we've already established close football is not always good football.
Buddy.
Truer words.
But I guess some good stuff came out of all this, Michael. You were telling me earlier that you won something?
Yeah, so 12-year-old me would be very proud of me. So I went across the street. Yeah, well, you'll understand why I say that. I went across the street not yesterday, but last week, near the end of the week, just to grab myself a salad from Fresh Brothers, the pizza place. And while I was there waiting for them to grab my order from the shelf, I noticed they had one of those drop a business card to win a free pizza party for your office fish bowls. And the bowl was empty. So I was like, I have a business card on me still. Let me drop one in here and just see what happens. Sure enough, today they call me up. I won a pizza party.
I am standing here with my mouth open. I thought those were scams.
No, turns out they give away a pizza party. So on Wednesday, I will have 3 medium pizzas and a salad and some knots to share with some people at the office.
All right. Pretty cool, man. Honestly, yeah. I've never, I haven't had business cards for like most of my life, but I only ever use them for that stuff. I've never used them once in a professional circumstance ever.
Oh, I used to use them all the time.
You're in a much more person-to-person business than me and Michael are in. True.
Fair.
But man, good on you. Yeah, your business card is worthwhile and useful to you, unlike me. Or I don't know, maybe you use it, Michael. I'm not sure.
Not these days.
Oh, sure, right. That's funny. They don't call the business, I guess. They call you because your number is on there.
Yes, so they called me. Fortunately, I was in the office today because they called my desk number.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
That you could get that forwarded when you're not in the office.
You could, but I still just let it ring to my desk, and then I get notifications if I have voicemail.
I'm pretty sure that's true. Visual voicemail these days.
Yeah, I can definitely set up my phone at my desk to forward to my cell phone, but I absolutely don't do that.
That.
Heck no.
100% that.
If they want to pay for my cell phone, sure, we'll talk about it, but they don't, and so then here we are.
Yeah. It's a different world.
Yeah, look, I asked if they want to give me a company phone. You could call me on it. That's how that works.
When exactly is this pizza party?
I will not give you my phone number.
Wednesday. So it had to be they called the yeah, one of the stipulations, I guess, was that they called me up and they're like, it has to be this week. It's like, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
I can make that work.
I was just thinking is like, I know my work is doing a Halloween party this week. Was that Wednesday? Forgot.
Yeah, it's coming up fast.
Show up in costume on the wrong day.
That's what I was just worried. I mean, I don't have any kind of fancy costume, so it wouldn't be a big deal. I just
wear one of your onesies.
Yeah, might be doing that actually. So
there you go.
All right. Hey, while we're still not talking about video games, because we don't do that frequently here, honestly, to be fair. Andy, do you want to talk about some other stuff here? You got a question for me?
I do have a question. It was for both of you. I want to know, because I need some motivation. I dislike doing yard work. And after the recent rain, I was punished. Well, during the recent rain, I was punished. Severely.
Yeah.
For not having done some yard work. You know, what's the thing? Your problems come home to roost. You know what I mean?
Oh,
chickens like coming home to roost.
This is the me sowing and this is me reaping kind of meme format.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. We had some flooding and some other stuff related to not having done a bunch of yard work. I don't like doing yard work to begin with, although, it's necessary. And through the summer especially, I hate doing it because I don't like to be hot. But
sure,
we also put a decent remodel on our front yard. And though I dislike yard work, when I do the yard work in the front yard and clean it up and trim the trees back and do all that stuff and spend a day or two doing it, and the yard looks perfectly clean and new and refreshed, I feel very accomplished. And I was curious if either of you have a thing that you hate to do around the house that afterward you're like, yes, look how amazing I am at doing this thing I hate. Because I got a lot of those types of projects to handle and I need some motivation to do them.
I don't have something that I hate that takes that as much time as your yard work sounds like it takes you.
But that's the thing, right? Sometimes it doesn't take the amount of time you think, right? Like I had to plant a tree and I was dreading doing it and I didn't do it for like 4.5 months. It sat in a pot because I didn't want to plant the tree because we have clay here underneath the topsoil and
really a pain to dig. I know.
Yeah. You could dig at it for hours. If you really, really wanted to. Ended up planting the tree in a couple hours instead of 2 or 3 days like I expected. But I can end up, that's one little thing. It doesn't actually take that long sometimes. How do you get your project motivation? What do you hate doing that then at the end you're like, yes, I did it?
So I don't know that I get the yes, I did it feeling, but I am a person who makes lists and checks the list off. And I start it at like the top of the day. Like as soon as I get up, I'm starting chores and doing stuff on the list until the entire list is done. And hopefully that's before lunch, but maybe it's not. And then, got to take a break to eat or something just because usually it's, if you're doing a bunch of outside work or whatever.
So I tried the list thing.
I find the list very helpful for me. So and then also like headphones and a podcast because I can't just like sit and do work for hours on end without something else going on.
You got to put on some music if you're digging a hole.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely.
No, I tried the list thing. I like it, but I fall prey to a problem, which is that I can sit down with a piece of paper and then all of a sudden the paper is full. And there's literally no way I could finish it all in a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I've gotten like pretty realistic about what is actually going to get accomplished in a day. And like what I can really, or like what kind of stuff needs to be done versus stuff that just like has to eventually be done. And,
So a curated list instead of the list of all the things.
Right. Yeah. It's not meant to. The list is never intended to be comprehensive. It's just here is the stuff I'm going to do today. And, sometimes the list won't matter, right? Because there's no reason to make the list because, my wife and I together are going to do something. And that's the thing that we're doing that day.
It's like a master list versus a honeydew, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, speaking of master, not to get off topic, I finally watched that Master and Commander movie. That's pretty good.
Russell Crowe?
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
Okay.
I never watched it, and I like naval stuff. That Greyhound movie is really good, in case anyone has Apple. Anyway.
Okay.
Michael?
I'm kind of the same way with the list. I will make myself a list, and it isn't the any one task that I get the feeling about. It is the getting to the end of the list.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, to be fair, all the satisfaction comes at the end when you're like,
oh yeah,
the list is done. You crumple that list of paper up. I make a physical list, right? And I write it down on a piece of paper so I can cross the lines off with my pencil or whatever and crumple it up and throw it in the trash when I'm done. That's the joy.
I just don't have the different hate to satisfaction ratio for other projects in the house. Like if I paint a room or I a demo and replace a door, or I clean up the office, or like those projects, I don't hate them. I just don't want to do them because they're normal things that people don't want to do. In fact, I kind of even like painting when I have the time. I just never have the time. But the disdain to satisfaction at the end for yard work specifically, to me, is very interesting, and I just wanted to see if either of you had that. So thank you. I'm weird. I get it. Moving on.
You know what? I will add one more thing. I think that part of the reason why it's different for me too is that any of the things that I feel the sense of yeah, I did this about are things that I kind of like doing in the first place. Right. So I built 2 bookcases last week for downstairs in our place, and got to the end of it and I was like, yeah, those look really good in the space, but I like putting stuff together.
Yeah, what are bookcases but just way bigger, more annoying Legos?
Pretty much. Giant set of adult Connects.
Yeah, they don't really go together like Legos do. Connects is maybe a better analog there, maybe.
I love Connects. I wish that they had become a more long-lasting thing. They were a big thing. I'm not going to say they weren't really popular, but I feel like you could find a bin of Connects for 10 cents at the swap meet, whereas old Legos are still expensive.
Yes.
I think they still make Connects, but not under that name, right? That connecting toy thing is still a thing, isn't it? Or am I
think Connects are still a thing.
Is it? All right. I very could be right. I have no clue.
I'm pretty sure Connects is still a thing.
I think so. I think they still exist.
All right. Well, let's make an impossible transition here. Andy, I just wanted to point out something from last week's episode. I don't know. Did you listen to it? I'm not sure how much you.
But you would know I listened to it if you watched the YouTube video, because there's a great deal of heckling you guys while you're doing the while you're doing the Azure Trails police force video time. It was not in the audio version because I didn't think people would understand the audio cues that were happening. But it might be there if you go check out the YouTube.
I wanted to let you know that I think you would really, really like Return to Monkey Island, and specifically, it would be great on the deck. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna get you. This is a good transition to another transition. You do the next thing. I'm gonna go get the deck right now and install all those games. Okay.
You do that.
That story. Yeah, he will like that story a lot. I'm pretty sure. All right. While he's away, let's talk about some other stuff he's not going to care as much about.
I just rolled 1.5 feet to get.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Welcome.
All right, great. Welcome back, Andrew. yeah, I think that story in particular you will like. I don't know. Did you play Monkey Island or any of those before?
No, I have them all
think so.
on. Let's see. I have them on Steam. I have them on Amazon Prime Gaming, and I'm 99% certain they're also on Game Pass.
You have like the old ones? Are the old ones on Steam? They must be, I guess.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the full, you can buy them as a set on Steam.
Got it. Well, let me go ahead and tell you.
Oh, they're not on
I don't
Game
know.
Pass. They were, but they're not on Game Pass anymore. But anyway, they're on Steam, and I know that we all got them through Twitch at some point.
This is the danger of the rotating game service that Game Pass is. You can't count on it, unfortunately.
You know, you have to know what you're getting. You know.
Oh yeah, look.
Absolutely.
This is why you would, just like any other service, you subscribe and then you unsubscribe when they don't have the stuff you want, right? That's just like Netflix. And
I got to go through all my services and start doing that because I haven't watched HBO in like over a month.
Bro, you should watch House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon's pretty good.
Are you sure it's actually good, or is it just better than what they left off before? Because
I've been watching it and I like it quite a bit.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean this to be a spoiler question. Don't tell me a spoiler.
Okay.
But knowing what we all know from Game of Thrones, the show or the books up to this point, not the separate backstory books and all that sort of stuff, right?
I mean, which is what this show is.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, off of information that people that watched Game of Thrones or read the books would have. What is interesting about watching the Targaryens? And I don't mean that in a gotcha kind of way. And I don't mean that it's a tough question because I don't mean for you to explain me the show.
Here's my answer to your question.
The Targaryens is that they're an insular, bloody ruling family with a bunch of magic and dragons. And it's all just going to be intrigue and incest. And to me, it's kind of like more interesting to see how that interacts with the characters we cared about. And like, there's really, from all the previous stuff that they tell you about this, there's not a whole lot of Targaryens in it. They lived on an island and they were all killing each other.
I think you have some misconceptions about how that worked.
Okay.
The first episode takes place in King's Landing, the majority of it.
Well, yeah, obviously they ruled in King's Landing as well, but
okay.
So I mean, not enough.
I mean, they made the Iron Throne by melting it with dragon's fire. So
yeah, I mean, hey, here's my answer to your question without spoiling things. The things that I liked about the first, let's say, 4 or 5 seasons of Game of Thrones was that a lot of it, while there was like this big plot going on with like White Walkers and dragons and all that other stuff, really the thing that was interesting was like who was jockeying for position over who, and who was, vying to become the king or the hand or the next lords, or was, who was on whose side, all the like political alliances and backstabbing and like, drama of the drama. That was the stuff that was good in Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
I thought. This show is that.
But if
that's my answer to your question.
That's the thing that gets me not fired up, is that it's intrigue and drama for intrigue and drama's sake without
No, there are clearly defined stakes. There are stakes. I mean, they're for different people. You have to get invested in the new characters. But
you know,
just
where
like
they're
any
going.
other show. Yeah, I mean, the youngest shown character in the show is the great-great-grandfather of the oldest character we see in the other series.
All right, and so I don't mean that to be
it's instructive. It's instructive to say, because like these are so far removed from any of the people that you see in that show. Like they may as well, like, none of them know each other than like through the history books.
Yeah, and it's reductive to say, well, you already know how it ends, right? Because the Andor show is the same way, and I'm in love with it. How it ends.
The ending of Game of Thrones, not relevant here, and like it's like I said, it's so far in the past that the start of Game of Thrones is not relevant.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I have been very much enjoying it. So And we're not done yet. I know the last episode just came out, but we're like a few episodes behind.
It's a existential question. Am I interested in the Thrones-averse as much as people got into like the Lord of the Rings-averse? You know, Middle Earth-averse.
You should watch the Rings of Power. Speaking of,
yeah, there's a zillion things, man. You both should watch Andor.
Yeah, been. Yeah.
Had to sacrifice one thing for a different thing. That's how it goes. I also haven't watched Rings of Power either, to be fair.
Have you caught up on Andor?
No, not yet. We've gotten through the first 3.
Okay, watch them in 3-episode chunks.
Yeah.
Like literally, just don't bother in between. Just save them up. Watch them in 3-episode chunks. They are stellar films when you watch them that way. They usually have the same director for those chunks as well, so it's none of it's jumpy. Okay. So the first 3 were directed by the Gilroys, and then it switches over to I can't remember her name. Oh, I feel really terrible about it. Okay, well, never mind.
Clearly done by the same directors, though. You recalled that, so that's important to know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which way I want to go with this.
Yeah, it's a little bit off kilter there. Sorry, buddy.
Nah, this is the life we live, you know, just careening wildly back and forth between
topics. This is what Hangout O'Clock is about.
Yeah, that's what we do best.
So we talked about the Steam Deck a little bit there. Another game that I hear runs quite well on the Steam Deck that I've been playing is I've been playing the Persona 5 Royal, which came out recently.
Oh yeah, supposed to.
I don't have a Steam Deck, but I'm told that it runs quite well. Gets the frames you need for a JRPG, which is not necessarily the most.
The
it looks
Steam
quite
Deck
nice.
can only get up to 60 frames anyway, so.
I'm told it works well.
Usually it's 30 frames. Persona 5 Royal is on Game Pass and is one of the games that I am intrigued about trying to get the Steam Deck to run Windows and Game Pass somehow to try out.
So you need to go look on the internet for this, Andrew. I know people have done some stuff. I think the issue is getting Windows to work is hard.
There are some workarounds, but I'm not willing to do that amount of work yet, which I think maybe next week or the week after is probably the basis of our discussion about the Mister.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of that workaround stuff so far with the Steam Deck.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about this game. I played Persona 5 years ago.
Well, so this is the remake?
No, this is the updated and expanded content version.
Mm-hmm.
So they take the base game and then add a whole bunch of new stuff to it. And then now it's Royal instead of just Persona 5.
Okay. So the expanded edition.
It's like the expansion pack, but they just sell the expansion pack again as a whole new game, which is pretty scummy when you think about it that way. But to their credit, at least, thus far, I've only done one dungeon effectively. They have woven in a bunch of new story content, new abilities, new things that into even the very first and very beginning of the game in a way that this dungeon played out in a completely different way. Well, not completely different, but in a different enough way that okay, this is new stuff, even if parts of it are the same. So it is enough of a the monster's weaknesses have been shuffled up. That makes a big difference. Some of the battle mechanics have been changed. You have guns in this game. I don't know. It's all a cognition, shadows and the mind and all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So you have you take a model gun into the dream realm and all of a sudden it can act like a real gun and you're shooting monsters or whatever.
Do you turn off the safety protocols?
No.
Oh, it's not a holodeck
because they're off all the time. The monsters are just out there trying to kill you. But in the previous game, you got your gun ammo, and then every time you would leave the dungeon and end your day and come back, it would refill. Now it just refills every battle. So like, why not use the gun all the time? Like,
oh yeah,
just a gun. You can just shoot stuff.
Make the game more fun, you know?
Exactly. Well, and then they're like, you know what? Instead of just like making the gun do physical damage, there's like gun type damage, just like fire type and ice type and whatever types. And so like, oh, some things are weak to gun and like some are weak to physical and some are weak to ice.
That sounds just like a system we know pretty well at this point.
I was going to say, I hear the transition in there.
So, you know, I've been enjoying that, and it's been really interesting to go through. And, you know, speaking of weaknesses to ice, though,
yeah, I think we're all on board the train now.
Picked up a few nice, easy battle-tested weapons with those ice weaknesses. Been a real treat there.
Yeah,
I did the BT. Which one was it?
We're talking about Champions of the Continent for people that didn't understand the transition.
Yeah, sorry, I explicitly say it. I just figured they all noticed. Which one was it? Was it the sword?
Yeah, I think sword is one of them, and
I think the fan was the other one I did.
Yeah, speaking of fan, Michael.
Yeah, the fan.
Yep, Michael.
Yes.
You have a Bravely fan 3.
I do. Yes.
And a Lynette. Has it changed your life?
No, only because I haven't. So the way that those work best is if you switch Lynette from a damage dealing role into a predominantly buffer role. And I haven't made that change yet.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, it still extends her lane switch by one turn.
It does. It extends that by a turn.
Yeah.
I think the real benefit of it, though, is that you can, like, she's not actually the one dropping the huge nukes. She's dropping huge buff skills that last way longer.
Right.
And that's the benefit of that, right?
Yeah.
Because that's like keys in directly with the fan. Because I don't think the attack stats on it are like awesome.
They're not.
It's level 50.
Yeah. You might be able to upgrade it more later. I'm not sure if they introduce a level 4 for those, but yeah, it's offensive stats are not nearly as good as some of the other things you can get.
Yeah, I've noticed her damage production starting to fall off, and I was like, I wonder at this point in my life if I just want to equip a 60 fan to her and just lane switch her more.
Yeah, I think if you're in it for just the damage out of her that she can contribute, you're better off doing it that way.
Yep. And I use Viola as my like highest level character, and so I have a like always making sure her weapon is as high as I can get it, right?
So that's my question to you guys now that you're starting to outpace me by a decent clip. Well, I don't have my app open for my hours played because I wanted to do an hours played check. Maybe we could do that real quick. But does armor all stop at 60? Do the weapons all stop at 60? Kind of give me a preview of, because I am back at the end of Master of All. I've beaten that. I'm sort of farting around doing all the stuff that came with the Bravely collaboration that gave, a lot of new work to do. And Michael has convinced me now to go back and do hunts manually. So, things have slowed down for me getting to end game content, which is fine. I'm not like jonesing to spend all day on the thing these days. But I kind of am looking at like the equipment. I'm like, am I kind of stalled out here? I see more elite hunts now that I've unlocked that I'm not sure I could do without some sort of upgrades or something.
Yeah, so the answer is yes. The weapons and armor do keep increasing in level. So right now there are, as of the latest update from last week, there are 4 sets of weapons and armor that you can, at least on the weapons side, you can upgrade. Yeah, and they are at level 60, 61, 62, and 63.
Oh, so at 60 they just sort of have started to close down the game. It's not like they go to 90 and 100.
Like, well, it's like as as the new chapters get added, it seems like each new town in the new chapters has one new weapon set, right? So the first town had a level 60 set that could be upgraded. The next town had a level 61 set that could be upgraded, 62 and 63.
Yeah, interesting though. It's not like 60, 65, 70, 75, 80.
Well, there are gray sort of shades within that because of the upgrade system.
You're talking about the 3 point whatever, 4 point.
Well,
whatever.
4 now. Yeah, so you can take a level 60, level 60 I think are the innocent weapons, and you can make an innocent level 2 or an innocent level 3, and each one is successively stronger, and then you move to the next town, and the weapons in some cases, depending on which class you're going from and to, are just straight upgrades, and in other cases you're making trades of, well, this sword doesn't hit quite as hard, but it gives me plus 30 speed.
Does it feel like to anyone else that Champions of the Continent is turning into almost like a single player MMO?
I think that's a contradiction in terms.
I mean, it doesn't feel like it plays like an MMO, so no.
No,
but I mean, the game was all about grinding the whole time. So that
incremental upgrades, like at the end of WoW, when you're like, "Oh, I can get the next incremental upgrade."
Yeah, I mean, it's all stuff to do if you want to stay on the treadmill to be at the top of the power curve. It's not necessary. Like, you could go do all the currently available content, I'm pretty sure,
without the weapons,
without doing all of that stuff. You definitely don't need all of it to beat, these battle-tested bosses. I don't even have that good of stuff, and I can do it. You just need to have the right sets of units with enough of their skills to be able to break the shields consistently, and then a couple people to come in and hit really hard.
Yeah. Yep. What's everyone's playtime sitting at?
236 for me.
I had it up a second ago. 94.32.
You're at 94?
94.32.
You are an efficient player, my friend. I'm at 170.
Yep. Don't fight all the pointless fights. That's me.
I was gonna say the traveler stories add up.
Yeah, no, I haven't done so many traveler stories.
Dude, I've only done 30 of them, and they've added up to that much extra time.
I was gonna say I think our play times go in order of most traveler stories done.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's that influence is really important, I think.
It definitely helps, especially as you start getting into the later story towns, and you need the extra influence for path actions and interacting with the NPCs.
I'm glad we got to it, because I had a big question about influence. Something that I have been really bad at is allies.
I had to go ahead.
Oh, I barely used them.
That was me too for a very long time, until I wanted to try and beat these battle-tested bosses. Then I got serious, and I found some good allies. And
there
now
are some very helpful ones for your first couple of fights.
And now the most recent one, I didn't use them, but all the other ones, I've used them heavily.
Where are the ones that I want?
In the towns you don't have access to yet.
Some of them you can access. I have a list I can send you of where to find some of the more useful ones. But JJ, did you know that there is one who has a high chance of putting your enemy to sleep for 3 turns?
What does that do?
It works on those BT fights.
That's really good.
Yeah, they go to sleep, and so they don't get a turn.
Do you break sleep if you hit them? In a game,
I'm trying to remember.
In a game where you can't actually defend, you can't.
It might, but it also might. It might just be physical attacks that break sleep.
Also, there's a couple of those BT fights where like skipping one turn could be super important, and the difference between winning and losing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I did not know that. That's very cool. I was going to say most of the really helpful ones that I found are from Flame's Grace and Donetsk.
Oh,
don't know how to,
Donescu.
don't know how to say that. Yeah. Anyway, those are the towns I found that have a lot of like the thing that I have been searching for is like multi-hit attacks in certain weapon categories.
Yes.
And Victor's Hollow has some also where the arena is. Andy, by the way, the arena, a bunch of the early fights in the arena, very easy and tons of rubies.
But I have to get to Victor's Hollow somehow.
I mean,
you got to do the
storyline.
Yeah, which is what I've been dreading.
It's not that hard.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's hard.
takes you there like right off the bat.
It's all time. I can do a traveler's story start to finish in like 15 minutes, maybe 20.
Yeah, depending on how long.
The low end ones, yeah.
Yeah, but JJ, if you like those multi-hit characters, all of the BT characters I think are at least 3-hit.
Dude, Scarecrow.
Michael, I'm not refighting those people just to recruit them. No, that's not. No,
Scarecrow is unfair.
Enough of a struggle.
4-hit multi-target arrow.
Oh, it's the best.
It is unfair.
I thought the 4-hit random target fan that I got the other week was pretty good.
Dude, Scarecrow hits every single enemy for 4-hit arrow.
It's pretty good.
It costs 60 SP.
Until you get him at a high enough level, you can unlock a tile on the job board to reduce it by like 20%.
That would be nice.
Also, there are path actions are pretty good, you guys. I don't know if you know. You can find. Hey, Andy, here you go. You know, you're talking about what a pain in the butt it is to craft all these weapons. Mm-hmm. Let me talk about you going to these new towns and doing path actions on every NPC you see and getting free weapons and gear.
Yeah. You can usually get at least one piece of each of the armors and 3 or 4 of the new weapon class.
I have not crafted any Innocent. I have not crafted any Fenrir. I have not crafted any Tyrannical. I have not crafted any Sacred that I did not get for free to start with.
Nice.
So it's the free loot is there if you want it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's more than enough to propel you through the story if that's, you know, your end goal, which I think that's kind of.
I think it's a good design choice.
It is.
So you don't, you can grind really light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you really don't. Those daily quests are there, but you don't really need to be up on your dailies every day.
I mean, I've definitely got enough memory fragments for whatever the next thing is. So now I just do them so I can get silver stones.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good game. I don't know why it's so good. It shouldn't be, but it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the music.
Yeah. I
just by itself.
I go to Emberglow to go to Emberglow, man.
It's a good music. Man, Persona 5 has good music too. Very catchy. Though I think the COTC music is a little more chill, I would say.
If only they could play us out.
I know.
But, copyright strikes and all that.
Yeah. Also, so I don't know how litigious Square Enix is, but they're probably too litigious for us to try it. So, Michael, if people want to write in questions about COTC, where should they send them?
They can send those and any other questions to podcast@weweregamers.com.
Michael knows a lot about that game. I'm just saying, if you
people don't understand that either he knows or he knows the guy who knows and has a spreadsheet that has an encyclopedic amount of info.
Yeah, both ways. FFRK got me into the gacha Reddit community and how much help that can be to someone who doesn't wail for all the highest end stuff. So
I will never spend a dime on this game. And I know that ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I still haven't...
what? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, when I got to the point that I decided I was no longer going to spend money on Hearthstone, even though they have the ability to play that game and never pay for it, it ended my interest in Hearthstone because I wanted to do other things. Knowing up front that I will never spend a penny on this game and that I will miss out on stuff and all that still has all my interest.
Yeah. Well, in this, there's not really much to miss out on because basically everything is permanent content. It's just, do you want to wait on it to eventually happen or do you want to pay to have it right now?
I mean, yeah, I had to get it right now for Agnes because she may or may not come back for a very long time.
Sure. Yeah. And the collabs are like
man,
that.
I didn't tell you guys how that worked out. I wish I had taken a video of it. It was insane. It was very unfortunate to have decided that I wanted her so badly for my team because I didn't have Teo. And then to get on the first round, go through Scarecrow as my number 5-star guarantee instead of Agnes, and then Tressa. And then I was like, well, if I go through again just a few more times, I'll have enough guide shards to get her anyway.
Right. Two times through was enough for this.
It's actually less, I think. But anyway, it didn't matter. Got through to the second round of the next one, and I got her as a 4.5 star, and that's when I texted you like, so is it going to be possible to upgrade her to 5-star somehow? Because she's basically useless without being a 5-star.
Okay.
The regen spell can't be accessed until the 5-star board, and that's like one of the big ones that you need.
Yep.
So then I was like, well, I guess I got to roll again. And on the next one, I got her as a 4.5, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then the exact next roll was her as a 5. And I was like, okay, here we are.
Not just 5, but 2 awakens now as well.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy. Sometimes you just hit the luck, and that was nice.
Yeah, it works out, man.
Well done.
Heck of
and
a
you got a
game.
5-star Scarecrow to boot.
Dude, I didn't think he was going to be that good because...
Dude, no. I wish so badly I had one.
I was hoping to run...
Ashland is okay, but like, I need some bows.
You know, I kicked Kurtz out of the party for Azlight once I got her back up to 4-star instead of 3.5. And I was like, super. My party is back to being the composition that I requested from the beginning here. And then the boy, not the boy, Cyrus, but the Scarecrow is too good. Camilla cannot do the damage he does.
Oh, no.
Camilla's great, though.
Yeah.
She's still in my A team despite having Scarecrow because she can sit behind Sophia and heal her back up so that she's always casting at half SP.
Oh, dude, I think I always have at least 2 or 3 or 4 different 4-star units rotating in and out of the like main group because they're just like some of them have skills that are too useful.
Yeah,
You can't not.
sure.
Like some of them are just so good.
Anyway, email Michael
Yeah.
to find out more.
Yeah. You can also find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, We Were Gamers, all those places. Check us out, We Were Gamers, all one word, on YouTube. Go find that video that Andy put together heckling JJ and I from last week.
Oh, it was light ribbing.
All in good fun. Yep.
Yeah.
Jinx. Nice.
All right.
If you go on
Andy,
there,
you can also... I was going to say, you can also, instead, if you want, put Camilla behind Scarecrow because her other passive is 15% bow damage up to her row.
To her row, not to the one in
Yes.
front.
Not her column, her row.
I wish they would.
One. It turns out.
I really wish they would fix the terminology to be more clear because sometimes
should
row
just be-
means row and sometimes row
It
means
should just
row.
be line and row.
Yeah, column and
Because they
row.
already use front and back line.
Yeah, they need to do something to fix that because I can never tell which one it means.
Yeah. Yeah, 10% bow damage up of paired ally.
Paired allied
they're-
means the one in front.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I use them as a 1-2 combination in my Tiki-Lin fight.
That makes
Scarecrow in
sense.
front of Camilla.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
I have her sitting behind Aslan. Is it the right name?
Ashlyn.
Ashland. Thank you. Yeah, Ashland. That crit Guaranteed. Pretty good.
Crucial for the Tiki Lin fight.